What's up, guys? Alvaro here, and welcome back to the Bilingual Stock Market channel. Let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P 500, Nasdaq 100, Amazon, Advanced Micro Devices, and Nvidia. And today we saw an unbelievable comeback when it comes to the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. Take a look at this 5-day, 5-minute chart of the S&P 500. The trading session opened near 3,800. The bulls were rejected right away. We saw a massive dump of the S&P. And take a look at the spot in which the bulls found support today, guys, before going higher, because the S&P found support at 3,740 points. And once the bulls found support over there, they pretty much went higher for the rest of the trading session. So the bulls found support at 3,740 points, the same spot, pretty much the same spot that they found support at last Thursday. So over here we saw a double bottom that played out almost perfectly well, because the S&P went up from 3,740 points almost, get these guys, 2.50%. Something positive that is worth to be pointed out over here when it comes to the bulls is the fact that they managed to close today's trading session above last Friday's high, which was at around 3,830 points, and the S&P closed today's trading session at 3,831 points. So over here we have two positive aspects that are worth to be pointed out. When it comes to the bulls, we closed above the high of the previous trading session, and on top of that, the bulls defended tooth and nail a previous area of support at 3,740 points. Now I'm going to pull up here the 4-hour chart. Keep in mind, this is still being a very ugly looking chart, clear downtrend below all the moving averages. However, not all the moving averages, because the bulls managed to close today's trading session above the 50 SMA and the 4-hour chart. Another positive aspect over here for the bulls is the fact that today they closed the trading session above the lower pivot of May at 3,820 points. So that's also encouraging for the bulls, but keep in mind, we have declining moving averages, a clear downtrend, so the S&P 500 is guilty until proven innocent. What could be happening tomorrow in the case in the case that we see the continuation of the rally that we saw today? Because at the end of the day, the S&P closed today in positive territory. Watch out for the fat number. Remember, fat numbers act like a magnet. So we have a previous support right at 3,900. This might be a spot in which the S&P 500 is very likely to come across with sellers. So this might be a spot in which we're going to see a bunch of market participants loading up on put options. And when it comes to support, obviously, guys, 3,745 points. This is the previous support back from last Thursday that was held today once again. So we have two very clear pivots. One of the pivots to the upside as resistance at 3,900, and a very clear lower pivot at 3,745 points. The RSI of the S&P is at 52 points, so the S&P is neither oversold nor overbacked. So for the most part, this index could go either way. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the NDX Nasdaq 100, which goes up today 1.68% and closes today's trading session at 11,779 points. 79 points. Sorry, guys. Keep in mind, tomorrow we have the Fed minutes. This is a document. No one, no one from the Fed is going to be speaking tomorrow at 2 p.m. This document is going to be released. And that document basically is going to be a summary of what was discussed during the last Federal Open Market Committee. So we can expect a lot of volatility into 2 p.m. On the East Coast and after 2 p.m. In the case of the NDX, guys, something very here the price action that we saw today was different relative to the S&P 500. And why? Well, because today TNX, the 10-year Treasury yield, got absolutely killed. I have told you guys on many occasions here in the channel that from a mechanical standpoint, the 10-year Treasury yield is inversely correlated to higher multiple stocks, tech-oriented stocks, growth stocks, and so forth. So the fact that the trading session opened today with TNX getting killed was very positive for the Nasdaq 100. So we didn't see a huge dump in the case of the NDX as soon as the trading session opened. The trading session opened, the NDX pulled back a bit, the bulls found support at 11,360 points, and get these guys. Once the bulls found support over there, we saw a 3.70% rally. Unbelievable. The trading sessions that we are seeing throughout this corrective process are very, but very impressive. From a positive standpoint for the bulls, they managed to close today's trading session above the 50 SMA on the 4 hour chart. They are still holding support the lower pivot back from May near 11,500 points. So the bulls, as of now, are about to make a test of 11,800 points. This is an interesting spot from a technical standpoint. And why? Well, I'm glad you asked. 11,800 points, guys, happens to be a previous support back from November of 2020 and also a previous resistance back from September of that year, of 2020. So we are talking about a very easily identifiable previous support and resistance that is very likely to provide an important resistance for the bulls. If the bulls can take on 11,800 points, and if the rally continues, which could be the case, because the RSI of the Nasdaq 100 is at 55 points, then the next important gap is going to be up to 12,200 points. This is a previous resistance in which the bulls failed back on June 24th. In terms of the main line of the defense for the bulls over here, that is going to be 11,400 points. This is an area that acted as support on several occasions not a few weeks ago. That is not accurate. Last week. So 11,400 points is going to be the main line of defense for the bulls, and the main task for the bulls is going to be 11,800 points. Keep in mind that the trend is our friend. The trend is down. The Nasdaq 100 doesn't look any good as of now. We have a bunch of declining moving averages. The bulls managed to reconquer the 50 SMA. That is kind of positive, but the trend is still down. Declining moving averages. So most likely, guys, if we happen to see a rally or a continuation of the rally that we saw today up to 12,100 points, the rally might be sold near that area. So keep that in mind, because sellers are in absolute control of both, are still in absolute control of both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. Now let's go ahead and take a look at advanced micro devices. Full disclosure, guys, I own call options of AMD as of now. Goes up today 2.08% and closes today's trading session at $75.20. Very ugly looking short, just like most of the shorts that we find out there as of now with this terrible corrective process that we are seeing. However, in the case of AMD, guys, the bulls managed to find support at $72. Was that a coincidence? No, it wasn't a coincidence. Let me show you guys. $72 happens to be backed up by the 180 SMA on this weekly chart, and $72 is also a previous support back from May of last year and also back from March of 2021 last year. And get this, guys, this is also a previous support back from September and October of, get this, 2020. So the fact that the bulls managed to hold this previous area of support as support is positive from a technical standpoint. Now I am going to pull up here the 4-hour chart. So the next important gap for the bulls of AMD is going to be up to $79. This is a previous support back from early June. If we were able, I mean, I already own calls, but if any of you wants to take a trade on AMD from $75.20 up to $79, this would be a 5% profit trade. AMD was very oversold today. The RSI was pointing at 23 points, and the RSI isn't elevated. It is at 40 points as of now. So this is a gap that might be that could be filled if obviously the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 keep on rallying. Obviously, clear downtrend below all the moving averages. So watch out for a retracement, or watch out for sellers stepping in anytime soon, because the sellers are obviously in total control of the technical chart of AMD. But I think, and that's why I am holding my call options, I think that this gap up to $79 is likely to be filled anytime soon, and I still have a lot of extrinsic value when it comes to the call option that I purchased. When it comes to the market structure of AMD, the sentiment as of now is at 4.2 out of 10. it isn't the best. It isn't the best sentiment, but it is at least it is pulling up. And when it comes to the demand and supply for shares of AMD, as you guys can see over here, the blue shaded region is the demand, and the purple shaded region is the supply. So as of now, we have a demand for shares of AMD that is way larger relative to the demand of shares of AMD that we have available as of now in the market. So this is an acceptable market structure for AMD. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Nvidia. And mind you guys, by the way, if AMD tries to fill this next gap up to 79 bucks, or if AMD happens to fill this gap up to 79 bucks and the bulls fail at that area, this obviously is going to be a nice spot in order to get puts of AMD. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Nvidia, which goes up today 3.04% and closes today's trading session at $149.64. What an ugly looking chart for Nvidia. Nvidia has a gap down, guys, has an unfilled gap, has unfinished business to the downside at 134 bucks. I am going to pull up here a 3-year chart and take a look at 134 bucks, guys. 134 bucks happens to coincide with this 180 SMA on the weekly chart, but this is also a previous support back from May of last year, and also a previous resistance back from November and December of, obviously, guys, 2020. So in the case of Nvidia, I'm thinking that if the NDX and the S&P 500 keep on rallying tomorrow or throughout this week, then we are very likely to see Nvidia filling the next gap up to 155 bucks. This is a previous support back from early June, also back from late May, and also back from early May. If the bulls of Nvidia fail at 155 bucks, obviously, guys, this is going to be a screaming buy for put options. Or mind you, if the bulls make a test of 155 bucks and they happen to burst above that previous area of support, then we have another gap to the upside up to 167 bucks. This is a previous support back from early May. If we were able to take a trade on Nvidia bursting above 155 bucks and filling this next gap up to 168 bucks, this would be a 9% profit trade. The RSI of Nvidia is at 43 points, so Nvidia, for the most part, could be going either way, because it isn't. It is neither oversold nor overbought. When it comes to the market structure of Nvidia, let's go ahead and take a look weekly at the market structure of Nvidia. What is going on over here? Market sentiment better relative to AMD, 6.2 out of 10. And in the case of Nvidia, we also have a demand for shares that is larger relative to the supply of shares of Nvidia that we have as of now in the market. So this is an encouraging market structure as well for Nvidia. And the last stock of this video, AMZ and Amazon. What is going on over here? Goes up today 3.60%, closes today's trading session at $113.50. In the case of Amazon, we have a different chart. It is still in a downtrend, very ugly looking chart. But in the case of Amazon, the bulls today reconquered the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart and also the 180 SMA, and it looks like Amazon is trying to work out a bottom over here. It looks like. You guys can see how over here we can clearly see a head and shoulder patterns that could be invalidated if the bulls of Amazon can burst above 116 bucks. 116 bucks happens to be a previous resistance back from late May and also a previous resistance back from mid-May. So watch out for 116 bucks, guys, because if the bulls of Amazon happen to fail at 116 bucks, then over here we might be seeing a triple top formation, in which case Amazon could drop down to 107 bucks, which happens to be, in the case of 107 bucks, happens to be a previous support back from late June. This would be a nice short trade if we happen to buy put options. Or on the flip side, guys, if Amazon can take on 116 bucks on good volume and momentum, which could be the case, sorry guys, if I can speak today, because the RSI is at 63 points, it isn't that elevated, and if the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 keep on going higher, Then the bulls of Amazon take on 116 bucks, and they have another gap to fill up to 126 bucks, a previous resistance back from early June and also back from early May. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the market structure of AMC and Amazon. What is going on over here? And let's wrap it up, guys. Let's see. This is very important, guys. The structure of the structure of a stock inside the stock market. Do we have a greater supply relative to the demand, or we have a greater demand relative to the supply? This is very important in order to decide if we are going to take a trade with a certain stock, with any given stock. In the case of Amazon, the sentiment, the market structure sentiment, is sitting at 9 out of 10. This is a very nice sentiment for Amazon. And as you guys can see over here, we have a way greater demand for shares of Amazon relative to the supply of shares of Amazon that we have available as of now. So this is a very, but very encouraging market structure for Amazon. So I'm thinking, and taking into account the market structure that we just went over, I think that Amazon has a fair shot of being able to fill this next gap up to $126. And with Amazon, I am going to wrap up this video. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for hanging out with me once again. Remember and keep in mind, guys, that here on the Bilingual Stock Market channel, we are posting stock market update videos Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. So if you want to get all of the notifications of all of our videos in a timely manner, you have to be subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you also need to activate the notification bell right up there. Follow us on Instagram as well, guys, at Bilingual Stock Market. And remember that this is the Bilingual Stock Market channel, the YouTube channel in which we talk about the markets. We do things differently because we talk about the markets in 2 different languages, English and Spanish. So you can pick your preferred language. But most importantly, this is the YouTube channel in which we know that the wonderful world of Wall Street is not for geniuses. It is for entrepreneurs just like you guys and myself. My name is Alvaro, and I will see you guys on Thursday, next Thursday, once again, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. Peace out, guys.